back to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl, Wealth Transformation. Wake up to your gratitude. Wake up to your wealthy thinking and feelings inside of yourself in every moment. It's an inside job. Wake up to your awareness, to being healthy in every area of your life. I'd like to start with a joke. I have some one-liners. Experience is a wonderful thing. It enables you to recognize a mistake when you make it again. Thou shalt not weigh more than the refrigerator. A conscience is what hurts when all your other parts feel so good. If you look at your passport picture, you probably need a trip. Artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity. Age is a very high price for maturity. If you're too open-minded, your brains might fall out. Okay, enough of that. Remember, there's more than enough money for everyone to live very comfortable and free. And it all starts in your mind, your thoughts, and your relationship with wealth and money. There's more than enough money circulating on this planet for all 7 billion of us to have $8 to $10 million apiece in the bank. We have a very distinguished guest this evening, Dr. Michelle Cleere. Dr. Michelle holds a PhD in clinical psychology and an MA in sports psychology. She serves on the faculty of JFK University. Her research focuses on how the mind can be trained to improve performance and endurance. Her competitive spirit as a college basketball player and amateur triathlete inspired her to explore sports psychology to improve her own performance. Her big aha moment came in 1997 when coaching a team of amateur triathletes, most of whom were beginners. Simple mental skill training, perspective shifts, and emotional support yielded most magical results across the team. People who hated running learned to power up hills with mantras. And I want to talk about that later. People who were terrified of swimming in open water overcame their fears with visualizations. Everyone completed their race, including a woman who showed up to the first practice with a snorkel mask and fins. And most kept competing. Since then, Dr. Michelle has helped hundreds of athletes who compete in sports that require a high degree of mental endurance and toughness, such as tennis, golf, triathlon, marathon, cycling, and beach volleyball. She has also worked with concert musicians, academics competing for tenure, and business executives. Dr. Michelle's passion is unlocking the power of the mind so that elite performers can play better and happier. She coaches athletes, musicians, academicians, artists, writers, leaders, and others who need to perform consistently at a high level. This is the first part of a two-part conversation with Dr. Michelle. Welcome, Dr. Michelle. I'm so happy you're here. I think, as you know, or you've learned that our show is about healing the relationship with wealth and yourself. And it's really important to have a healthy relationship with money. And so I usually start with, how were you raised to think about money?
Whew. Yeah. Well, I guess I got two messages as I was growing up around money. My father was very money driven, and as a man back in the 70s and 80s, the primary breadwinner of the family, but very driven by money, very driven by having certain things, getting certain things, power and control. And
Where are you from? California originally, or?
No, I'm from upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
A New Yorker.
New Yorker, yeah.
But you don't sound like. How long have you been out here?
I've been in California for 18 years.
Oh, okay. Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
So your father, what did he do?
My father, he was an accountant. Money accountant, sort of makes sense, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But it was really important for him. I think it came from his mother to really like keep up with the Joneses and have good-looking stuff and good stuff and
show off. Sort of.
Yeah. So my father was that, and my mother was pretty frugal about money. Didn't want to spend money, give you money. Had to really earn allowances if allowances were going to be given.
She wasn't cheap, was she?
Kind of cheap a little bit.
I mean,
but
I hate to use that terminology, but
yeah. But I think
that she wanted to save,
Yeah, and I think they sort of, my father wanted to spend.
That's a dichotomy going there.
Right, absolutely.
They must have had some arguments about money.
They had some arguments about many things, but yes.
Well, we won't go into that.
That's right. Money was definitely one of those things.
Yeah, it usually is. That's usually the driving force in a lot of arguments between couples.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you had that. So how did you integrate that in your own life when you were old enough to deal with money?
Well, I've been on my own since I was 17, and figuring out how to be in life in general, but in particular with money, has been trial and error.
Like most of the population.
Right. Yeah.
It's like there's only a very few people that have had really good instruction about having to manage and be attractive to revenue, to income. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you manage? I mean, you went to college, of course. I
didn't plan on going to college. I was a high school dropout.
Oh, okay.
So never. I mean, I came from a town this big.
Oh, okay. What made you a dropout?
Oh, it's a long story, but I didn't have the greatest of childhoods.
Oh, okay.
Growing up,
So it was just like you decided that's not what you wanted to do.
Well, yeah, I think life was just really challenging. I started drinking and doing some drugs and crazy stuff when I was younger, just to sort of cope and deal with life. And just after my junior year of high school, decided I don't want to be in school anymore. So I dropped out. And
wow, you have come a long way. Oh my goodness. I mean, what you're doing is fabulous. Being a sports psychologist, that is extremely important. I mean, it's not only just for sports, but just life in general.
Right.
So, wow, you came a long way, baby.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for recognizing that. And this is part of the story that I sometimes tell when I go out and talk to groups, is that if I can be here, then you can be where it is that you want to be.
Yeah, because you've had multiple challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not really rocket
understand.
science.
I can relate to that because I've had the same challenges.
Yeah?
Yeah. Are different, but.
Right, but similar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've had more than my share, but it's like you get lemon, you make lemonade. That's one expression.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've done that really well. So tell me what's your spiritual base? How do you integrate spirituality in your life?
Spirituality's been tough. I grew up in a very Catholic family, so I was highly dominated by...
Did you go to a Catholic school too when you were...
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But...
So you didn't have the ruler on the hand or anything like that?
No ruler on the hand. But I did go to... We had religious instructions every week that we had to go to.
Yeah.
But my family was very religious. They were... My father's family was Irish Catholic, and they actually lived behind the church.
Nothing like right there in your face every day.
St. Mary's.
Yeah. So you were rebelling. I can understand.
Yeah.
Church siblings?
I do. I have a sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how have you integrated spirituality? I mean, let me ask you this. What is spirituality to you? I guess that's the basis. A good place to start.
Sure. I think spirituality is, for me, it's a sense that there's something bigger than me out in the world. And to tell you the truth, I don't always know what that is. I stopped being a Catholic probably around the age of 18 or 19, and as I went into my probably late 30s, early 40s, I really started to accept sort of this Buddhist, Hindu realm of being. And started going, actually younger than that, started going to the Siddha Yoga Ashram. There was one in upstate New York where I lived. And yeah, I feel like...
You got a sense of peacefulness, though, inside of yourself for doing that?
Yeah, I think the peace for me, it comes a little bit from spirituality. I'm not as spiritual right now in my life as I would like to be. It sort of comes and goes.
So you don't focus in on it, per
yeah,
se.
Right, yeah. But I think knowing that there's something out there that's bigger and having studied psychology, and I think those two things in combination is what, brings me to a higher place, a higher understanding of just life and
that's good.
Beings.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how? Tell us what you do. I mean, what is your purpose and your passion, and what are you doing with that?
My purpose and my passion are to really help people find their purpose and their passion, and get them from wherever it is that they are to wherever it is that they want to be.
Give an example of one of your wonderful success stories that you have.
Yeah, sure. I had a woman come to me 5 weeks before her first triathlon and said, I'm completely freaked out by open water swimming. And in 5 weeks, I helped her to get over her open water swimming so that she was able to do her triathlon with confidence and ease, and she was in control, and it was...
So how did you do that? Please share without you.
Sure, yeah. Well, the first 4 weeks were in my office, and we really worked on where did the fear come from?
Yeah.
Where did the fear...
the source of it.
Right, the source of the fear. How have you been dealing with the fear, emotionally, mentally, practically, all of those things. And then started to talk about sort of techniques, new coping techniques. Gradually going from shallow water to deeper water. Her thoughts.
Step by step.
Yeah. Her thoughts, developing more positive thoughts, using a little bit of imagery. And then
tell us about that imagery. I read that in your bio, and I just would like to get your interpretation of what that is like.
I love imagery. The research shows how great imagery really is. It's such a great thing. I mean,
the same as visualization.
Yeah. Very, very much the same. And the reason I call it imagery is because when I work with my clients, I really have them utilize all of their senses, so that it really makes it a real experience for them. Kind of like watching a movie. That's how I relate it to people. We want to kind of create this experience. It's kind of like watching a movie with all the senses, where you can hear it and see it and smell it, taste it and feel it.
Yeah.
But imagery, in the field of sports psychology, there's actually a theory called psychomuscular theory, and I'm not going to get too crazy and technical.
Yeah, but you can give paint the picture for it.
Yeah, is that what imagery does is it actually fires the muscles as if you were doing whatever it is that you were going to do.
It's the mind.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't realize how powerful our mind is and everything.
It's so powerful. Yeah. So I love imagery.
Yeah. So an example for like the triathlete that you're talking about, what kind of visualization would you suggest to use? Or the woman that was afraid of swimming.
Yeah.
What would you use for that? An example?
Well, there's several different directions. With her, we really went into her seeing herself being successful in the water, seeing herself from, walking off the beach into the water, seeing herself.
Before she did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing with wealthy consciousness.
Yeah.
Is seeing yourself, feeling yourself being wealthy in every way, shape possible.
Uh-huh.
And when you can feel that, it's the same. It's the same principle that you apply to everything in your life.
Yeah.
And so that's so important.
Yeah, and going off what you just said, so one of my musicians, he's a professional trumpet player, and he called me today, and he's like, "Oh, I have this big opportunity, actually in Marin, ironically.
Oh, okay.
I have this big opportunity, and I'm really scared and nervous." So I talked to him on the phone, and I said, "I think what's important for you right now is to set your intention. What's your intention for this experience? What do you want it to feel like, look like?"
Yeah.
And I want you to really focus on that and think about that. And that's the direction that I want you to move. And I said, when you have your intention, you can go from this place of anxiety and pressure and craziness to this place of fulfilling your intention. Because now you know what it is. You know what it looks like. You know what it feels like. You know what it...
And it's like I was having a conversation a little bit earlier before the show. And this is the same thing, but this is how I would say it. For me, is like you focus on the goal. Yeah. When you focus on the goal, you'll get there. No matter what, it's like there's this invisible force.
Right.
And that's what I call the spiritual force. There's this invisible force that pulls you in that direction. Mm-hmm. And that's the miracle. That's the blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like
exactly, but it is an intention.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we have to do that in everything in our life.
Yeah. Well, you can't get somewhere unless you know where it is that you want to go.
Oh, absolutely. Otherwise, you're a fish out of water, floundering.
And no wonder your brain starts going crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's going here and thinking this and doing that,
and that's where it takes. I know we've talked about this via email about discipline. Now, some people resist discipline, that word. But that's the word I use, is it takes discipline to do that.
Yeah.
Just like for me, meditation and prayer every day, give my gratitude first thing. But now I do it automatically.
Yeah.
But it takes discipline at first.
Right.
To get with anything, like with sports.
Absolutely.
To build up to that, you start one step at a time.
Yeah.
One stroke at a time.
That's right.
Whatever.
I call it a lifestyle.
So
this is a lifestyle. It's not like, you're going to get here and then that's going to be it, or you're going to get to the next, this is, again, like what do you want your lifestyle or your life, what do you want it to be? So
it's an everyday dedicated intention.
Yeah.
Or goal, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when something hits that you're not expecting, then what do you do?
Well, yeah, then what do you do?
What do you do? I mean, what do you fall back on when something, it's a crisis or something? What do you do then?
Well, and this is what I deal with every day with people. I was just in an international symposium talking about to tennis coaches about coming back from a loss or a losing streak. And part of it is, tennis players and everyone, we all need to know how to deal with like these pressure points that I like to call them in our life. And the first thing is knowing that those pressure points exist.
I guess you wouldn't really know it would exist until you get there. I mean, am I correct?
Yeah.
I mean, you push yourself so far. It's just like, for me, I can ride my bike 27 miles, and I hadn't done that before. But unless you try it.
Yeah.
And I know I could go farther now because I got there.
Yay!
Yeah. So it's being determined to do it and see how far you can get. I mean, help me here if I'm, if you have any insight on that.
Yeah, it's definitely that. And I think that far too many times with my clientele, people think that it's something physical going on. Like we have this problem and it must be physical. So
if they have like a losing,
right,
like the tennis player, they think it might be physical.
Yeah, I need to practice longer. I need to practice harder.
Oh, interesting.
And so there's this real yeah, there's this real challenge around that because a lot of my clients,
They're not fully empowering their mental
Right.
capacity or their
Yeah.
strength.
yeah,
I mean, that's how I'm
No,
reading
absolutely.
this and what you're saying.
yes, absolutely.
So how do you deal with that? I mean, with your
Yeah.
client.
Well, clients usually come to me and they're like, it must be this. Yeah, I've tried everything else.
Oh,
It
okay.
must be this. And inevitably it is that.
The mental.
I mean, the physical is easy
Yeah,
to
it
a certain
is.
point, right?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're in condition and you're doing the right things,
Yeah.
eating right and keeping the exercise and the stretching and all that that goes with it. But the mental can
Yeah.
be very challenging
Yeah.
until you get to that, like you said, that everyday
Right.
commitment. Because
Yeah.
it takes commitment.
Takes commitment.
I wish we could get everybody to be committed like that.
Yeah.
Everybody would be a lot healthier mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
Yeah.
They keep moving and keep using their minds, mindfulness.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to certain things in people's lives, it's amazing to me that there's this real disconnect between the body and the mind.
Well,
And
I think it has to do too with what people go through when they're children. It's getting rid of the past, letting go of the past, and God bless the women and the men that have been sexually abused.
Yeah.
There's like a huge. I mean, I've known several, and there's like a huge void that is really hard to fill when that happens. And I'm not going to get into that conversation, but you're living your. When did you really get it that your purpose and passion was sports psychology or psychology? When did you really get it?
Well, I already had a master's degree when I moved to California from New York, and I lived here a while and I decided that's not really what I want to do. And
What was your master's in?
Recreation and leisure.
Oh, okay.
Similar, but
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not, it was like having more fun. It's like
Yeah.
la,
Totally.
recreational la. But you refocused.
Yeah. So I
okay.
came to California and just decided that I wanted to do something else. Had always loved the field of psychology. Found the sports psychology program at JFK and was like, sports and psychology, Wow. Is there anything better?
Yeah.
And got my master's degree, and shortly after that got my PhD. And
well, congratulations on that. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
It takes discipline to do that. I know.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And you do know.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah, because I'm dyslexic, and I mean, I haven't had my PhD that long, but I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah, I have dyslexia too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was in special classes when I was in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. No, sorry, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Wow.
Math and reading. And, it was really hard when you're that age. But I was a social person, so I kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
Which I did for many years with my personality and social skills. But it was hard.
Yeah.
It took me until I was about 30 to really get better self-esteem. In that, I don't know if you experienced that, because I was considered slow, which has nothing to do with intelligence. It's just the chemistry, the wiring inside is a little different.
Yeah, I was actually diagnosed with severe learning disability, so other things besides dyslexia. When I was about 29, I was in my master's degree, and I had always been on the dean's list and had straight A's. And
it's amazing that you did that and having those learning challenges.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at the start of my master's degree, because there's such a differentiation between like bachelor's and master's, right?
Right.
My grades started to drop, and I got tested, and I mean, it was amazing. It was really scary to find out I'm in a master's degree program.
Wow, I mean, to have it so much later you know, because I was dealing with it when I was really young. And so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But you probably overcompensated for it when you were younger.
Yeah.
Because it's something that just doesn't come on automatically.
Yeah.
You know, so that's interesting. Well, kudos to you.
Thanks. Well, you too. I mean, you had to deal with it a lot longer than I did.
Yeah, it
And we
hasn't.
both have PhDs.
No, you know, I got into the classroom situation, and I studied and I studied and I memorized, and then I'd sit in that, and there's something that happened, and this is me. You know, it doesn't always happen to everybody, but it's like I know these answers, and then it's something I just go blank.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's like the wiring would. It's like, what happened? God, I studied so hard and I can't even get, you know. But
Yeah.
I of course, did the non-traditional type of getting my PhD. So I love writing, so I wrote. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
So since you're living your purpose and passion, do you ever have a conversation with your clients about wealth and money, besides them paying you?
Well, that's a conversation, right, in and of itself.
Yes. Never give up on your pursuit of your purpose and passion. And even if you don't know what that is, work with integrity and have a positive attitude wherever you work, and especially with your family and friends. Be grateful for what you have, who you are, and be grateful for your freedom and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. Don't forget to exercise, move your body. Keep your spirituality with meditation and prayer and with unconditional love. And firstly, love yourself unconditionally and share your abundance and wealth with others. Thanks for watching. Please support Marin TV that brings these messages. And remember, when fear knocks, let faith open the door. And don't forget, there is a season for everything. And when you are not getting what you think you want in your time, divine intelligence spirits is preparing you for your harvest and promotion. Bye for now until next time.